Good afternoon, everyone. Julia Johnson speaking. I just want to share something very, very valuable to you guys. I read in the book of James 2, verse 14 to 26. Faith without deeds is useless. It's always convenient to blame other people when things is going wrong in our life. Always convenient. And as I was now sitting here trying to make a short, I couldn't send. I probably tried 10 times. I couldn't send the short. Every time the short stopped somewhere and I couldn't send the short. Last night I was watching this animation movie about a guy who decided to make robots because he wanted the robots to rule the world. And somehow he messed up. Somehow in his operation he messed up and the robots started to control him. So the robots just set him aside and put him in a closet, but he had a dog and somehow he lost his dog. He lost the dog and the robots started to control the world. and there was this specific dog, wow, who was helping the homeless with books and food, and like the cats and the dogs, tried to help them with books and food and stuff and getting them out. And somehow he had access to certain places and certain things because they couldn't catch him. They couldn't catch him, and somehow he lost his memory also. He lost his memory. Somehow he lost his memory. He couldn't know how did he lost his memory, but he lost it. And he find this place where the cats and the dogs are treated so decently. And I think many of you did watch this movie. And at the end of the day, the dog and all these animals, they come together and they decide they're going to stand up against this insanity. They're going to stand up against this insanity. Now I'm thinking about this war here in Israel. I'm thinking about this war here in Israel, and I was thinking, what is behind this? What is behind this? There's a certain group of people, I can tell you guys, this is not something that was confirmed in my soul or in my inside. There's a certain group of people that is working feverishly against the insanity of this one-man world. I was looking at this robot with a one eye. He was created like a spider, but he only had this one eye. And these dogs was gang up and was teamed together. They lead him into the fire. They lead him into the fire and he died. And at the end of the day, if you look, we have two eyes, we have two ears, we have a whole body, arms and fingers and hands, our whole body. And it is so much easier if you can make use of all your limbs and everything that God has given to you. The task is so much easier, and our existence is so much liable and lovable. Because why this giant who tries to rule the world, he's been doing it for a long time with so much disastrous and so much pain. And it started with taking independence away from people and then take away their ability to use their mental capacity, and then taking away their self-sustainability, where they can become self-sustainable, looking after themselves with their God-given talents. And then you take away their habitats, their homes, their areas. And then it end up now with this land invasion thing, apartheid, whatever we want to call it. At the end of the day, we must remember we are staying on a fraction of a part of the world. We have no idea how big this world is. But we are so squashed together by this giant with his iron fist and his iron hand. We squashed together. So when you stand in your front yard, you look straight in the neighbor's house. But when you walk over the field, you see there's open fields, open land, open places. So we can only see the territory and the area that we are living in. There is so much, and the other thing is every night we go to sleep, growth is taking place because our souls start to rest, and then restoration is taking place in our bodies, in our souls. So our skin is shedding and new skin is developing. Our hair is falling out and new hair is coming to the surface. And it's exactly the same with the earth. The earth is expanding every day. So now we are living on a fraction of a part of the earth, and the whole, I think we're not even living on a third part of the earth. I think we are living on a very small size. Because there are earth and land that we never ever seen in our entire life. There are places, even in the places where you are staying in the countries where you are staying in, there's places that you never have seen. Because you are putting in this small, little, tiny little box that is making you so frustrated because every time you try to find your feet, something is taken out from under your feet. The mat or the rug is ripped from under your feet. I know. People are praying for freedom. Freedom is promised to us. And there is people working behind the radar. And those people have one mindset, one intention. And it is to bring this sick and insane thing that one rule and one population is going to rule the world, and people are going to dance according to their to their tunes and to their laws. It's not going to work. It didn't work before, and it's not going to work now. It's not going to work now. Enslavement is going to come to an end. And I know behind this war, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take. The thing that is hidden behind this war is going to come to the surface. There is too many people that is crying, and tears are counted. Tears are counted. That is crying for outcome. And that outcome is going to come simple. Simple. You see, one day a child wake up and the gun was lying there without even thinking. Wake up the mother with a gun in the hand. Mommy, look. Shoot mommy in the face. Shoot mommy in the face. It's going to be a very, very simple a simple thing that's going to bring an end to this insanity. David was sitting there talking to himself, wondering how in the name of God did things come to this. How did it come to this? And he had to face a giant that was impossible for any human being. And I was also wondering how in the name of God did David kill a giant? How did he kill the giant? Because they tried to put on the giant's clothes for him. They tried to put in the giant's clothes, and he couldn't fit in that clothes. He couldn't fit in that clothes. And as he was sitting there and wondering how in the name am I going to bring this giant down? Now we're going to think this giant was one person. This giant was everything but one person. He was sitting there and thinking, how am I going to bring this insanity to a stop? That people get killed and slaughtered and baby skins get ripped from them and the innocent have to die. It looks like it's impossible. There can't be a God. How am I going to bring this world back to a sane and decent lifestyle where there's more than enough space, more than enough food? Because if we can walk into the store, I mean, all of us can see. There's not a famine. There's not a famine. We're not allowed to have land. We're not allowed to be self-sustainable. We are not allowed to live according to the standard that was given to us to live on this earth. We are forced to live not even like animals. Because animals also have decency in them. We are not allowed to live like human beings. I don't know where these people come from. And how in the name of God did they come to that conclusion that they have the authority? Because most of these children that are in their environment is children that is coming out of houses like ours, with decency and morals and values and honesty and assisting one another was the main principles in our houses. There are things that are happening behind the walls of these wars where they claim to be somebody walk into their territory. I mean, we not. I mean, yesterday they can tell us this story yesterday, and we had no idea and no clue. But not today. We're not clueless anymore. We know about a lot of things that's happening around us, a lot of things, and all I can say is the answer is gonna come out of red houses. I can remember the children was playing in my friend's garden, so they were stealing the fruit and stuff. And she comes to me and she said, Julia, you know about the children. You know what the children did? And I said, give the children a chance to explain themselves. She said, you know what? The first thing is what's going to happen. The children is going to tell you the story what had happened. And it did happen like that. The children would come to me. They were all going into the garden and they wanted to take the watermelon. And they were caught. They didn't ask, they go steal. We were children once upon a time, and we also did things that is not allowable. But we were exploring. We were exploring. And we were naughty and we did things, but we didn't do things that were so harmful and hurtful that we have to destroy lives. These people want to eat alone. They want to sleep alone. They want to rest alone. Their backs have never bent. They want other people's backs to bend. Then they introduce a law to you. This is the law that they introduce to you. The man who doesn't work can't eat. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, nor thy neighbor's wife, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant. This is the laws that they introduced to you as citizens from other countries. So how come this law is applied to anybody else but the people who should abide by these laws? They have a whole set of rules, 613 rules that tell them how they should love with one another. And then they come and they do these ugly things to people. Put people in chains, literally. They put people in invisible chains. Thou shalt not steal. This is the first thing. The first thing they steal is your country. The second thing that they steal is your identity. The third thing that they steal is your dignity. The fourth thing that they steal is your money. Then they steal your blood. Then they steal your children. Then they steal your husband, and then they steal your wife. Kill your husband. Because they feel they are the only people that's entitled, but they have laws that they have to abide by. What does that laws mean to them? What is the laws that means to them? Given laws. That is what Jesus said. They implemented laws that they themselves can't even keep. Wrong is wrong. Never mind all the laws that is there. Wrong is wrong and right is right. Wrong is wrong and right is right. We are all human beings created in the image of the one who created us. And by the end of the day, when the truth is going to come to the surface, where everybody trusted them and everybody respected them, the anger is going to fall. And you're just going to realize people who look like the innocent portray that they are the innocent. The greed is destroying them. The same thing that they're depending on, which is money and blood. That is going to be their downfall. That is going to be their downfall. I apologize.